think there's two different pieces here. Banning royal transport from our financial sanctions. They're slightly two different things. He talked about in the speech he gave last week is a direct result of the fact that President Putin invaded Ukraine, and that has created volatility. One of the big reason, of course, that the president announced the release of the 30 million barrels from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve and the coordinated release is to address that and ensure we are doing what we can to put more in the marketplace. But again, his prism he looks at this through is how can we maximize impact on President Putin while minimizing it on the American people.
U.S. want Russia to be removed as a permanent member?
We don't see that happening. We certainly understand they have a permanent seat on the Security Council. Of course, that is why it's so particularly disturbing that Russia, given its particular responsibility for upholding the UN Charter, is actively subverting the Charter and abusing its position. The fact is they have a permanent, we're really focused on isolating, and why that has not been a step the president has been willing to take or we have been interested in taking is because a no-fly zone requires implementation. It would require essentially the U.S. military shooting down Russian planes and prompting a potential direct war with Russia, the exact step that we want to avoid.
When the president of Finland visits tomorrow, does the president want to talk to him about joining NATO?
Well, the president is looking forward to welcoming the president of Finland tomorrow to the White House to continue December 13th and again on January 18th. I would expect they will discuss the U.S.-Finnish defense relationship, which is very strong and, in fact, complements opportunity partner for the alliance, which helps ensure strong defense and close security ties in the Baltic Sea region. But it remains, for any country, up to that country and up to members of NATO to determine any path forward there.
And lastly, Russia's been cracking down on independent media and dissent at home. What's your reaction to that?
We have seen that and are deeply concerned. Let me give you some specific, thank you for your patience.